Hello and welcome to the news bulletin. French President Emmanuel Macron has been issuing increasingly stark warnings about the threat posed by Russian aggression. In an interview with The Economist, he reaffirmed his previous statements backing Ukraine in the face of Russia's battlefield advances. Macron stated that the question of sending Western troops to Ukraine would legitimately arise if Russia broke through Ukrainian front lines and Kyiv made such a request. He doubled down on his comments earlier this year on not ruling out sending troops to Ukraine, quote unquote, which sent shockwaves through Europe and unsettled allies, including Germany. Most of France's allies said at the time they would not send any forces to Ukraine. Macron described Russia under President Vladimir Putin as a power of regional destabilization, quote unquote, and a threat to European security, quote unquote. He emphasized a clear strategic objective: Russia cannot win in Ukraine. If Russia were to win in Ukraine, there would be no security in Europe. He questioned whether Russia would stop there and highlighted the security concerns for neighboring countries such as Moldova, Romania, Poland, Lithuania, and others. While some strategic affairs analysts dub Macron's refusal to rule out sending troops serves as a strategic wake-up call for his counterparts, others believe that this is mere French saber-rattling on the face of an impending major Russian offensive in Ukraine. Macron suggests that Moscow's war machine is not sustainable over the long term. Devoting a third of its budget to defense is not sustainable for a country whose gross domestic product is lower than that of France, Germany, or the United Kingdom. These developments come at a critical moment for Macron, who is due to host China's President Xi Jinping for a state visit. His increasingly stark warnings about the threat posed by Russian aggression underscore the helplessness of the West in the Ukraine crisis. So now the question is, would the arrival of French troops change the situation in the battleground? Does France have the power to deter Russia? What if France sends troops? What if France enters the war? Well, if France sends troops to Ukraine, it would have significant implications for the conflict and international relations. Let's examine one by one. The deployment of French troops would be the beginning of a dangerous escalation. This could be the stepping stone to more intense fighting and a potential third world war. There is a tangible risk that this could draw other nations into a broader confrontation. Considering the fact that France has no direct stake and hence no locus standi in the conflict, Russia would be unforgiving in its response to France, resulting in dangerous confrontation between two major powers. Let's not forget Russia's clear warning. This will bring the war into the heart of Europe, not just Kyiv or Odessa. This will bring in Paris and Moscow within the ambit of dreadful missile exchanges. You won't see pictures of Ukrainian people running for cover anymore. Rather, French and Russians agitated by missile sirens running underground very soon. This would also change the dynamics within NATO. The French move might cause tension within NATO as member states have different stances on military involvement in Ukraine. While France has not ruled out the possibility, other countries like Germany and the United States have been more pragmatic and cautious. The Biden-led US has explicitly stated that it will not put boots on the ground. It will limit its involvement in the form of military aid and training to Ukrainian forces. When it comes to Russian response, Russia has already warned that the conflict with NATO would become inevitable if European members of the alliance sent in their soldiers to fight in Ukraine. This could lead to a dangerous tit-for-tat escalation, increasing the risk of a wider war engulfing Europe. The presence of French troops could raise the stakes given Russia's previous threats to use nuclear weapons. This would significantly increase the risk of a nuclear war. The Russian threat looks real because Russia sees the West's involvement as clearly provocative. Besides this, the long war has already exhausted Russia both militarily as well as economically. Militarily, through the constant modern military supply to Ukraine, and economically through collective sanctions. Despite this, when it will see other European powers, starting with France, are gherowing it, encircling it, and threatening its existence, it will drive the Kremlin desperate and crazy. A desperate Russia, which has been hesitant so far, might use nuclear weapons to deter Western advances and achieve its war objectives. Thus, French participation will be one step closer to a possible Russian nuclear strike. Macron's move will have serious political repercussions as well. Internally, President Macron's decision could face criticism and political backlash both domestically as well as from European allies who prefer a more diplomatic approach. On the other side of the story, Macron's words should not be viewed in isolation either. Although officially NATO has remained away from direct participation, it could well be a ploy from Western Bloc to test the waters first and gauge the Russian response to it by sending small deployments first, and then making it a free-for-all kind of game in the battle against Russia. Other than this, it would shut the door to peace and negate any chance of negotiations. A wider war would create a grave humanitarian crisis. An escalation could worsen the humanitarian situation, leading to more casualties and displacement among the civilian population on top of the worsening Ukrainian crisis. In whatever way the situation unfolds, the chance of negotiation for an armistice would be the first casualty. We have come to these derivations based on the current geopolitical climate and statements from world leaders. The actual consequences, however, would depend on a multitude of factors which are very dynamic, including the scale of the deployments and the international community's response to the French move. What other consequence will unfold if there are French boats in Ukraine? Do let us know in the comment section. Before leaving, do not forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Thank you. Thanks for watching.